Hello fellow survivors. In this video we're dealing with the problems that Alpha 20 has done to Darkness Falls farming. In particular, what the hell has happened to hoeing in Darkness Falls, and we will be featuring the new rice farm method for creating a crop farm. Farming was doing well at the end of Darkness Falls Alpha 19, until the Fun Pimps made some changes to their farming system. Somewhere, somehow, it meant that Kane had to also make changes to his method of hoeing and tilling of land in the mod, and that is why we have this guard. A method that still works from previous Alpha 19 when making small farms was the 5x5 farm. Dig a 5x5 hole, dig down 3 levels, add a rain catcher at the bottom so that the water spills out over the bottom level, and cover the top level with topsoil, and hoe that. This is the old method, and you can still do this. However, we are now in Alpha 20 Darkness Falls, and we have a 5x5 size farm. We dig down 3 levels, we add the topsoil to the upper level and hoe the land. Here we start introducing the problems. The Fun Pimps made changes to their farming system in Alpha 20, and to compensate for this, Kane had to make changes to how Darkness Falls hoeing and soil tilling functioned. Now, all hoed soil has a gap between each row. You cannot place crops adjacent to one another on all sides anymore. You have a gap of 1 block. If you take the tried and tested 5x5 size farm, it works, but you have a forced gap in between each of the rows. Before you would get 24 crops from this, now you only get 14, that is 10 fewer than before for this particular size farm. So you can stick with this, but for the amount of time you spend doing it, I believe it is now inefficient, especially when an easier method can be used. Right, we're going to just call this the rice farm method, as it does have similarities to how some rice farms are created in real life. It is easy and it appears to be the recommended option currently, though I'm sure many players have their own design. So please share your thoughts in the comments. It can be used for any size farm, though in this case I'm going to construct 3 relatively long rows to make sure you understand the method and see that all the plants will grow. I'm going to use frame blocks all the way through the guide. Obviously you do not have to do this, but for inexperienced players it can be a good way of understanding the gaps and spaces that are used within the farm, so just bear with me on this. First, we choose the farm area and add frame blocks to the plot. Besides making it easier for the tutorial, it also makes it nice because you can flatten that surface. Uneven land is a real pain in Alpha 20 when you till the land, so this helps to make sure it is flat and quickly clears the grass as well. Right, place your blocks over the area. Once done, you need to remove 1 row and hoe it. Another change in Alpha 20 is you cannot just right click and hold the right mouse button down while you're hoeing the area. You must click on each area with the right mouse button. Once you've completed that row, leave a gap of 1 block and remove the next row. Also hoe that row. You can see now that the farm is taking shape. These tilled areas will be where you plant your crops. Now that's done, we need to trench the area where water will go. So remove the other rows of blocks and dig a trench 1 block down. Do this for all the other rows. So the farm is looking like this now. 1 row of hoed soil and 1 trench row in between. Finally, add in the rain catchers. You'll be adding them 2 blocks apart. The idea here is to flood the trench, so we dig a hole every 3rd block. Two blocks in between each rain catcher. Just pop in the rain catchers, and within a minute your rice farm method is on its way. Now, add your crops to the rows of tilled land, and you are effectively done. The great thing about the rice farm method is that you can resize to any capacity you wish. With this, you don't have to change the design or the method, just do the same thing and make the farm larger with more rows or longer rows. As much as you don't get as many crops as you did before in Alpha 19, once you get going, you will probably forget about the old method. Now, before anyone starts asking in the comments about farm plots, yes, farm plots can still be placed next to one another, so you potentially can have more crops per farm than if you're tilling or hoeing the land. This has led to some people going back to using farm plots in Darkness Falls a lot more, and not just for underground farming. So if you want to use farm plots, you can take the same principles here and use them. Just remember, many more resources are required for farm plots, but it does mean you have more crops within the same area of a farm. Right, survivors, I'll be recapping irrigation for Alpha 20 Darkness Falls in my next video. Until then, get out there and farm like you've never farmed before. See you in the next one.